So hello everyone and welcome back. Yesterday I was talking with one of my friends, Constanza, who is a nurse in the ER, and yesterday she had some redness and irritation around the bridge of her nose, which was caused by having to wear an N95 mask at work all day. And I've seen online a lot of other people who are having to wear these masks all day have some irritation, or even like bruising sometimes, whether that is on the face or especially around the ears, because that is where on certain kind of masks it connects and so it rubs against it and it's just not pleasant. In order to help with this, I actually saw one of my friend's moms made a headband for him with two buttons attached so that you can pull the mask behind the button. So it sits behind here so it's not resting on your ear and rubbing against it all the time. So shout out to Sandra for giving me this idea. I know a lot of other people have done this, so just so you know, I'm not that clever, but I am going to show you how you can make this with stuff that you probably already have in your own house today. So what you're gonna need for this is a headband, two buttons, which if you can find, I do recommend bigger buttons than this, but sometimes you gotta work with what you got. You will also need a needle, scissors, some thread, and a pen. So like I said, I'm working with what I have in my home, so I did just pull these buttons off of an old shirt that I was going to donate anyway. If you are also doing this, just make sure that you are really careful as to not cut yourself when you are removing the buttons off of clothing so that you don't give your nurses and doctors a whole other problem. Figure out where you're gonna place your buttons. Obviously, if you had the person in front of you, that would be a little bit more sanitary and helpful, but this is my friend. We're close, it's okay. So if you're doing this yourself or on another person, you just want to place the headband on them, and with your pen, you're just going to make a little mark as to where you would want the buttons to be. And where you want this is behind the ear. Somewhere around here. I'm just gonna make a little bit of a mark so that when they have the masks on, it's still able to pull tight and hold on to something, but it doesn't have to be pulling on their ears all day and rubbing against it. So just do the same thing with the other side. Again, if this is on your person, it's gonna be a little bit better, but leaving me with something roughly like this. If yours, like on this one, I do have this up a little bit higher than this, I am just gonna compensate and kind of meet in the middle. But to sew the buttons on, if you do not know how to sew, that is okay. What you'll want to do is get out your thread, some scissors, and a needle. What I would do is take the end of your thread, and if you need to trim this, if it's fraying at all, I do recommend doing so with your scissors, but go ahead and push this through the needle. Once you pull it through, you are gonna want like a double thread like this. So this is pulled through, I have the end over here. You wanna give yourself, I don't know, I'd say about anywhere between 3 to 4 inches of thread on both sides. So again, this is a double piece of thread with about 3 to 4 inches. If you give yourself a little bit more, like I am right now, it does just make cutting everything a little bit easier at the end. But once you have this, you are now just going to want to tie the end two pieces together. So I am literally just doing a basic simple knot, taking this, pulling it under here. And you all know how to tie a basic knot, I hope, and just making a really small little knot there. Now you're just gonna repeat this knot about 3 to 4 times on top of itself. So every time you make a knot, you are leaving where the knot actually ends up lying on top of the initial one, so that you end up with one big knot at the end of your thread. And if you mess up a little bit like I did and actually have one big knot and one little one, that's okay too. Next, you're going to want to grab your headband and your needle and thread, and having one of the buttons close by, what you're going to do is make sure that you do separate the headband, don't go through both layers, but starting on the back end, what I'm going to do is just kind of like peek through so that I can pierce the needle through where you've made your mark. So you're just gonna go ahead and pull that through. And you can see, because we made that big knot back here, this is now sticking on this side. If you would like to, at this time, you can feel free to trim off any extra little pieces of thread that you might have. But before you do anything else, you now just want to go ahead and attach your buttons. So sticking your needle through one of the holes, you are just going to add that on there, covering up your mark, and now going across, you are going to go through one of the other holes to secure this down. Again, making sure you are not piercing through both sides of the headband. Ta-da! When you do this though, you do want to make sure that this is not super tight. You want to leave enough room because the mask is going to be behind here. I do recommend obviously making sure it's secure, but leaving enough room that this could fit behind there. And again, if you had bigger buttons, again, this would be a little bit more ideal, but we're just using what we have, kids. So what you're going to do now is just continue looping this through all the holes, going back and forth between all of the holes, making a crisscross to really secure this in place. So for those of you that need a basic sewing lesson, I did come out this way, and you are going back under on the opposite side. Now that I've done that once more, I am going to again come down here. Don't prick yourself, kids. Again, do not give your nurses another job. You can see we are coming through a different hole now, pulling this up, pushing it over to the opposite one, and then just back under this other side. So just go ahead and repeat this a few times until you feel like this is properly secure. Once you feel like that is on there pretty well, what you are going to do is just trim where the thread is connected to your needle. So where it's looped through, just go ahead and give that a little cut, which will leave you with 2 individual threads. What you are going to do now to close this off, this is a really easy way to close your sewing off, is just tie these 2 threads in a simple knot. So again, you are just taking both of these, pulling them, and making a knot. Do this again probably 4 or 5 times just to make sure that it is secure. And then just trim off any excess thread that you have. So again, you can see I probably didn't need this much, but it does make the whole process just a little bit easier. So just use your judgment for whatever you have, but once you are done, on the inside, you should see there are a little couple ugly threads here because I'm not the greatest seamstress, but on the outside, it looks pretty cute. So now you just want to go ahead and do the exact same process to the other side. And then when you are done, you are left with a little headband like this, which is very easy to go ahead and pop in an envelope with a card. You could shove some candy in here. Maybe you could make a whole care package and include this with like a candle and some bath salts, you know, I don't know, something to relax someone. You guys can definitely get creative, but it really is not that hard to make, and if it does help someone, I definitely think it's worthwhile. So please do note with this isn't going to work with all masks, unfortunately. I know with my mom and my sister, who are also nurses in other divisions, for them right now, the kind of masks that they're wearing don't really rub on their ears, so this isn't as helpful. Even if making a headband might not necessarily help directly out with them, there are still tons of things that you can do from the safety of your home to help out, whether that is a healthcare worker or even just a grocery store employee or like the person that takes like your trash. Every single one of these people that are out there and are working right now are literally putting their lives on the line so that you can continue to live your daily existence. And I have unfortunately seen on the internet quite a few people being like, well, as a nurse, you signed up for this. Healthcare workers signed up, yes, to work in a, to a degree, an unsafe field where there are accidents. Yes, when you become a nurse or a doctor or any of these fields, you are signing up for the potential of accidents. But that does not mean that they signed up to work in completely unsafe environments. My mom right now at the hospital that she works at has to wear the same mask every day because there is a shortage. That is not safe. That's not doing anything. There is a very clear difference in jumping off of a plane knowing that there is a chance that your parachute might not work. There is a chance an accident will happen. But that is very different than just jumping off of a plane knowing there's nothing attached to you. So whether you are just making a stupid headband for someone, or you're just writing them a thank you note, maybe you're putting together a care package, maybe you are ordering someone's dinner for that night. There are so many things, again, that you can do that do not require that much effort or for you to leave your home or for you to really be financially burdened. Literally baking someone some bread, that can mean a lot. Picking up the phone and calling someone can mean a lot. So I do just encourage you with whatever you have in your home, with whatever resources that you have. We all have different skills. I don't have the skills to be a nurse right now. I don't have the skills to be on frontline. So if I can do the littlest thing to try and make things at least a little bit more comfortable for people who are, that still helps. So I just encourage all of you to get a little bit creative, figure out how you can make something with the little bit of time that you have now, and just do not discredit all the work that people are going through. I can't imagine half of this crap. You know what I mean? Like, so many things, you hear these stories, it is very different than actually experiencing them. So my heart goes out to all of you right now. I know times are tough for everybody, but I do just encourage you as much as you can, don't discredit those that are putting their lives literally on the line for you. Try and spread a little bit of love to them, and yeah, go make a headband. And if you don't make a headband, go do something nice for someone. And have a nice day. Bye. Thank you for watching.